Hey guys, me Andrew again, your favorite Canadian YouTuber A, and welcome to yet another episode of Skylanders Imaginators Guest Stars! It has been roughly about 5 months since the last time I made an episode like this, and I think we've waited long enough. Keep in mind, if the quality looks a little off compared to the previous episode, it's because I'm actually recording this on the Xbox 360 instead of the Nintendo Switch, so if the graphical quality is a bit lower, that's probably why. But hey, I'm using this version because I thought it'd be easier, and I've unlocked pretty much every single customizable part in the game on the 360, so I thought it'd be much easier to work with here. Either way, I've talked long enough, let's get into this. I got a brand new batch of creations to show you guys, so let's get into it. Starting with Samus Aran. I know if there have been other Imaginator creation videos on how to create a Samus Imaginator before, but this one is specifically based on Metroid Dread, as you could probably tell. I know it's hard to see her in full detail with that big arse cannon in the way. Here, maybe this will help. Better? So, for Samus, I decided to choose the Bazooka class. I thought would be the best fitting for her. And I'm going to show you all the parts I used to make her. For the head, I used the cyborg head. And eyes, I chose glowy, even though they're probably not going to show through the mask anyway, so what's the point? For the ears, I chose the half-bot ears. I figured they would blend in with the helmet well enough. And for the chest, I chose the diamond armor. I actually had to go through quite a few different types of parts to find the right ones that match the best. Because each one has a very specific pattern on what can be colored and what can't, which made it a little frustrating. But here's what I managed to dig up. Samurai arms. Now, the legs were probably the hardest part, because I had a really hard time trying to find the right legs for her. Why is it so hard to say? In the end, I decided to go with the buggy legs. She has no tail. If she did, that'd be weird. And for the weapon, I decided to choose the heavy artillery. I figured it's the same color as her arm cannon. I know her arm cannon is on her right arm, not her left arm, but that's just how it goes. Now, there are a few other choices that might work just as well, like say maybe this one, or this one, or this. I decided to just go with this one. For the gear, I don't think she really needs any headgear. The helmet is enough. For the shoulder guards, I chose the bomber pauldrons. I figure these came closest to her shoulder armor. Even though they don't have tiny rockets on the sides, but you get the point. I decided not to give her any wrist armor since I think those are enough. And the night leg armor. One thing that made it difficult is that I didn't know which legs had the best matching color palette compared to her legs in Metroid Dread. So I decided to add these on to try and match a little bit closer. Or do you think it looks a little better without them? You let me know in the comments below. I decided not to add a backpack. I was thinking about maybe giving her some rocket jets, since the back of her armor kind of resembles a jetpack a little bit, but with tiny engines, and if I gave her a jetpack, it would be way too big. And these are the size proportions. Hold on, maybe if I go back here first, and then go back to... Hold on. That's better. So these are the size proportions of each and every section of hers, you can probably tell. Let's see, recording for about 4 minutes so far. Sorry about that. So yeah, what do you think? Now as for the color palettes, these are what I chose for each palette, or for each part. I was thinking about maybe giving her an aura. I don't think she really needs one, though. And for powers, I give her Master Blaster. Unfortunately, there isn't an ability to roll her up into a ball, so this was kind of the closest I could find. Although I did find something that matches her bomb dropping ability pretty closely. I was thinking about maybe giving her a voice.
The
return of my nightmare.
The return of my nightmare.
The return of my nightmare.
Or do you think she sounds better without the voice? You let me know in the comments below, because I was thinking about giving her a voice with the radio thing, but she only has like 3 lines in the game, and they're not even in English. Hey, you want to see her dance? Yeah, that was a bit cringy, sorry. You know what, let's just play. Alright, enough talk. Let's see what she can do. It looks a bit better from farther range, but these guys are walking out close. I know it's not quite like the ball, but it's as close as I can get. At least she still got the bombs. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think I did a good job with Samus? Or do you think you could have done her a bit better? Let me know. If you want to make your own version of Metroid Dread Samus, I'd like to see it. Alright, enough of that. Next up... I'm sure you probably already know who this is already. Sora!
Strength, courage, and pure radiance! Okay, maybe just a few tweaks.
Yeah, I know it's not a perfect match, but this is about as close as I could get. If you're wondering why he has a chain sticking out, it's because his sword is supposed to have a chain on it or something with a Mickey Mouse emblem. Plus, he also wears chains on other parts of his clothing, and I feel like I need to put it somewhere, so I figured, why not? If you look at it from this angle, it looks like it's part of the sword, right? Either way, just ignore that. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find a key-shaped sword. This was pretty much the closest I could get. A saw. I know it's not great. But hey, with all these other weapons here, I think you get the point. Sorry. Anyway, here's the parts I used to make them. For this, I used the leafy-haired head. I figured the hair was the only one that came close to matching his. Plus, I couldn't really find many heads that came close to replicating his facial features, so this is about as good as I can get. Human eyes. Rounded ears. Fancy chest. All for one arms. Ring-ready legs. I know his boots are his shoes are a bit small compared to the ones in game, but this is about as close as I can get. And then once again, chain tail. Just pretend it's part of the sword or something. As for his gear, for the headgear, I chose the Dragon's Ridge to give him a bit more of a spikeness in his hair. Spikeness, is that a real word? Well, either way, I figured that if you look at it from a certain angle, it might look a little closer to his actual hair, even if it's not great, but hey, better than this weird-looking mohawk, right? Let's see, none of those, none of these, none of those. Although I did give him a little cape. These are the size proportions. Color palettes. And Star Child aura. Seems fitting enough, right? Powers and abilities. Master Gladiator. Yeah, I was debating between these two abilities here. I'll show you one then the other. Spinning Slash. Fortunately, I don't have enough to upgrade that. And Personality.
Strength, courage, and pure radiance.
I was also thinking about making a catchphrase, I am one with the light, or something like that, but, not bad, right? Right, let's see Sora in action.
Dude, we're back! Step into the light! Oh, yeah!
I'm going to show you the other ability I was thinking about choosing. Now, before I showed you this ability, I want to give a very fair warning. This particular light elemental ability here is very bright. So bright, in fact, that it could be problematic for people with epilepsy, so fair warning. If you have epilepsy, I highly recommend skipping the next 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Why is that so hard to say? Alright, 3, 2, 1. You get the idea, right? I think I'll just switch back to this one to be safe. So, what do you guys think of Sora? Do you think I did a good job with him, or can you think of any other parts that would work better for him in this case? If you want to create your own Sora and show me, that'd be great. Alright. I think I talked enough about that. We've still got 4 more to go. Alright. Next up, the protagonist of what I consider to be one of the greatest Nintendo 64 games of all time. And who was for a long time one of my top picks for Smash, Conker.
You can't handle my sarcasm.
Yeah, I know it doesn't look exactly like Conker.
And back to the old drawing board we go.
But hey, better than what they did with him in Project Spark, right? Okay, joking aside. Alright, let's take a good look at him. Once again, if he looks a little bit more blurry or pixely compared to the Nintendo Switch version, it's because I'm doing this on the Xbox. Here, I'll give a good slow zoom around here. For the head, I chose the Big Cheese, I think, which is like a mouse or a rat head or something. This was pretty much the closest I could get, and it's the it was the only animal head that had like 2 front buck squirrel-like teeth. I tried other animalistic heads, but none of them worked. This was about as close as I could get. I wish I could find one similar to this, where you can actually color 2 halves of his face, one orange and one light yellow or something, but fortunately not. Human eyes, rounded ears. I was thinking about just removing his ears altogether, since it's on the top of his head, not the side, but here, if you want, I can do that here.
Yes!
Is that better? He seems to agree. For the chest, I chose the cat suit. This seems to match his jacket feature the best. The arms, I chose Adventurer's arms. Now you can, I know you can see the blue poking through his fingers, but just ignore that. The legs were probably the hardest part, because I had a hard time finding just pantless furry legs with big sneakers. I couldn't find anything like that, unfortunately. This is about as close as I could get. And the tail? The skunk tail. Yeah, I know it's a little weird to give him a skunk tail, but this is, there were other tails to choose from, but I say this one came the closest. You get the idea, right? And the obvious choice for the weapon, the frying pan. Although there's also the spiked bat. But yeah, frying pan is ideal. In fact, I chose the Smasher class for Conker specifically for the frying pan. And for the gear, I chose the Commando helmet to replicate his soldier helmet during the war part. I don't think he has any of that. And for the backpack, I chose the toilet paper backpack. I think you guys can catch the clear reference here, right? Size proportions, obviously he's very short. And his tail width is obviously at the max. Color palettes. How funny when it does that. Master Obliterator. I decided to go with this one since it since the poisonous gas ability sort of represents sort of looks like a fart, and I figured it would be the best in tune with him. And if I just gave him the sheep disguise ability, it would just look weird. I don't think he has anything like that in the game. And I was thinking about giving him this. But unfortunately, I can't find any secondary abilities that came close to his helicopter tail ability.
You can't handle my sarcasm.
Yeah, I also had a hard time getting his voice right. This was about as close as I could get. All the rest just don't add up. I've tried many different kind of vocal combinations, and this was the only one I could get close. But the same thing in the game. You know what? Enough talk. Let's see what he can do.
Time to prove myself. You can't handle my sarcasm.
What your nose is.
You can't handle my sarcasm. You have to make some modifications, eh?
Or do you think this ability looks better? I'll let you decide. Personally, I like this one because at least it makes the cluck noises. Kind of. Alright, alright, 18 minutes in. You know what, enough of that. Next up is probably a character you probably weren't expecting to see in Skylanders. So, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to Shadow Warrior 3, and because of that, I decided to create Lo-Wang.
Knock knock. Who's there? My boobs!
Yeah, I know he doesn't look exactly the same, but
Huzzah for me!
But this is about as close as I could get. Based off his design from Shadow Warrior 1, 2016, reboot specifically. I mean, 2013. I'm an idiot. Alright, so, let's take a look. This, the shaved head here is the closest I could get. I know he doesn't have any facial hair. In fact, I was thinking about maybe giving him...
What's up?
This head. And And obviously, I'd be coloring that black, not pink, it would look like his facial hair. I was thinking about basing it off of Shadow Warrior 3 Lo-Wang design, where he actually has his hair, but I decided to just go with the first game. What the heck? Why does his voice sound like that now? Like, I thought it would just go back to normal. That's weird. Heroic chest. Not a bad time to be a superhero. Beetle arms. He needs a manicure. No tail. He probably gets a lot though. Now this is the obvious choice right here, the samurai sword. Obviously. I don't think I gave him a gear, actually. These size proportions. Color palettes. By the way, the reason why his pupils look so big is because he has brown eyes. Or at least I tried to look up pictures to see what color his eyes are, but they were really difficult. Plus, his eyes aren't his most focused feature, so that's probably why. You get the point. Hey, do you think I should give him an aura? I also had a rather hard time choosing his element. I eventually decided to go with Dark, since he is the Shadow Warrior.
Knock, knock. Who's there? My moves!
This is about as close as I could get to his voice. In the reboot, at least. I just figured you saw that. Alright, enough talk. Who wants some Wang?
Time for more adventure! So, how's it going? Dear enemies, consider yourselves some mount. Knock, knock. Who's there? My moves! Woohoo!
What do you think? Now, if you were to create Lo-Wang as Skylanders Imaginators, which I doubt many people would you have designed him the same way, or would you have designed him differently? Let me know in the comments below. Alright. Next up is one that you probably weren't expecting to see in Skylanders Imaginators. In fact, this is a probable familiar face that you probably haven't seen in years. Do you guys remember the original Bakugan show from like back in the early mid-2000s or something? Or was it late 2010s? I forget. Either way, that show was my childhood. Now, I'm planning on doing an upcoming episode of Show Off Showdown between Crusher from Skylanders Giants and Gorem from the OG Bakugan. And out of inspiration, here he is.
I am one with the Earth. Somebody call for a hero?
What do you think? I know he doesn't look exactly like Gorem, but this is about as close as I could get. And it's based off the Subterra Hammer Gorem, as you could tell. Alright, let's take a look. Rockhead. Glowy eyes, even though you probably can't even see him. I think those are horns, not ears, so I don't know why they're called scaled ears, but whatever. The walled body. Bellow arms. Android legs. Probably weren't expecting me to give him the robot legs, but none. His weapon was a tricky thing, because I couldn't really find any weapons that match his hammer in the original show. thinking about maybe giving him this, the Golden Lion Hammer, but I don't know why. I thought this particular weapon here matched his overall aesthetic much better, but that's just me. Thinking also maybe about giving him an axe, like this one or this one. But I decided... Or literal hammer. No. I'll just stick with this. What do you think? Headgear, I decided to go with the Queen's Gem. And the, these shoulders here, I thought they came as close to his shoulders in the original show as much as I could. Furry wrist guards. Never mind. Cobra leg armor. Oh, and the ornate shield, based off of his shield from his original form. I decided to put that on his back. What do you think? Size proportions? Obviously, he's a big guy, so... probably expecting his muscles to be a bit bigger, but I thought these were just the right proportional size. Color palette? Mostly just brown and beige and stuff, with a bit of green. And the Earth Elemental Aura. He is an Earth attribute Bakugan, so it only makes sense. And Master Pulverizer, since he's more of like a... He swings his hammer more so than smashes. And for the Earth element, I decided to go with this. Think of it as based on his special ability, Mega Impact, or whatever it's called. It's been a while since I've seen the original show, so I don't fully remember.
I am one with the Earth.
Alright. Gorem, stand!
Game on!
Sorry, did I hit you with a wave of nostalgia too hard? How about this?
Now I have created victory!
So, what do you guys think? Did you think I did a good job with Gorem? Which other Bakugan characters would you want to see recreated in Skylanders Imaginators? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, the one I've been saving for last. Let's just say if you're a longtime fan of Ratchet & Clank, you probably remember her. Angela Cross.
Too cool for the future. Think you can improve on this? Hey, be my guest.
I know it's not a perfect match, but this is as close as I can get. Plus, I made a couple of enhancements to her design. So, I'll show you which parts I used. For the head, I used the doe deer, the same parts I used for Ratchet and Rivet in previous episodes. Human eyes. Fish girl ears. This time I actually didn't use the same ears I used for Ratchet, which would be these ones. Because her ears are a bit different. Slightly shorter and more of this shape. And you get the point. New genie chest. These take a little while to load up sometimes. Barbarian arms. I was thinking about giving her Crash Bandicoot arms, but I realized you can't color those. At least I don't think you can. Superhero legs. And apparently there's been this thing that female Lombaxes don't have tails. Then why does Rivet have a tail? You know, I'm not going to get into that. Forget I said anything. Gear fists. I'll tell you why she's a brawler in a moment. For the headgear, I gave her the classic ponytail. It's about as close as I could get to her Lombax ponytail in the game, which is probably more of a flesh tail, since it's probably made of skin rather than fur. Because if it's more like your ears. Never mind. Maybe don't think too hard on it. All right. Same as Gorem, the Cobra leg armor. Apparently that's a popular one. Or me at least. And no backpack. These are the size proportions. Color palette. And no aura. Master Boxer. I was thinking about giving her maybe one of these, but I decided to give her the cool bike instead.
Too cool for the future.
Probably could have chosen a better catchphrase for her, but never mind. So, for those of you wondering why I made her a brawler, and probably wondering why she probably looks a bit more toned than she did in the original game, well, this is actually sort of based on an idea I once had where if Angela Cross were to ever come back in a future game, I have an idea for what they could do with her. Now, it goes along the lines of this. I'm going to sum it up as short as possible. Maybe I'll write more about it some other time if you're interested. Okay, so basically, let's say that in a future game, after she's drifting off in space for some time, she's eventually found, most likely by the villain of the game, whoever it may be, Dr. Nefarious, Chairman Drek, or maybe a new villain. Either way, they find her, and then they use her as a test subject for some sort of new bio-super soldier experiment, basically giving her the Captain America treatment, and they use her as sort of like a biological weapon to kill Ratchet. Let's see. Though, obviously, she would be like a mind-controlled with some sort of electronic implant within her brain, so she'd be doing it unknowingly, but eventually, after freeing her of the corruption, she then joins Ratchet and the gang and stopping the villain. I've actually thought of a lot more in-depth detail on this sort of thing, but what do you think? Super Soldier Angela? What do you think? Alright, let's see what she can do.
Look who's back in action!
You guys want to know more about my ideas?
Megaton punch! High tech! I was made for this!
Quite literally. She looks gigantic compared to Persephone. So, that's it for my latest episode of Skylanders Imaginators Guest Stars. Let's see, we got Samus, Sora, Conker, Lo-Wang, Gorem, and Angela Cross. Well, that does it for this episode. What do you guys think? Which of my latest creations did you like the best? Would you have created them any differently? Let me know in the comments below. I think I talked long enough now, so we'll see you guys next time. Okay?